A symbolic gesture with sharp political undertones is now drawing global attention. U.S. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna revealed a cake shaped like Greenland. The cake was decorated in the red, white, and blue colors of the American flag. Luna shared the image publicly, turning the moment into a political spectacle. She posted the same image on social media platform X. Her caption read simply, "This is a cake." The post quickly spread online, sparking reactions amid growing debate over Greenland's geopolitical future. Hours before U.S. Representatives Luna, Andy Ogles, and Abraham Hamadeh celebrated Trump's first year in office by cutting the same cake, the gala was reportedly hosted by Republicans for National Renewal, celebrating the first year of the Golden Age at the Trump Kennedy Center. Journalist Mark Nalton shared another picture of the cake with the caption, "Americans already enjoying their piece of Greenland." The display comes as tensions rise following renewed U.S. rhetoric on Greenland. What appears playful on the surface is being viewed by critics as a pointed political signal. Earlier, the wife of the White House Deputy Chief of Staff dropped a bombshell. Katie Miller posted a map of Greenland on X, colored like the U.S. flag, and worse, she captioned it as "soon." Within hours, 11 million views crossed and surging. Since returning to the White House in January, Donald Trump has revived his long-standing obsession with Greenland. He calls it strategic, essential, and vital for U.S. national security. U.S. President Donald Trump addresses the issue of Greenland in his Davos speech, says U.S. was the only nation that fought to secure Greenland.
We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones. We want Europe to be strong. Ultimately, these are matters of national security, and perhaps no current issue makes the situation more clear than what's currently going on with Greenland. Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark, tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II, when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did, at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it.
Greenland sits astride the shortest polar routes connecting the United States with Russia and parts of Asia, geography that has shaped military planning since the Cold War. That position makes the island a natural vantage point for tracking missiles, aircraft, and space-based threats moving over the Arctic. The U.S. already operates the Pituffik Space Base in northwestern Greenland, a critical hub for missile warning radar, space surveillance, and Arctic monitoring. As climate change melts Arctic ice and opens new sea and air corridors, Greenland's strategic value has only intensified.
Obviously, from our part of the world, it's extremely important to state and to continue stating that Denmark's territorial integrity is of vital interest for us. We appreciate close cooperation. We think there is a lot to do in increasing the security in Greenland, but also in the Arctic in a more general sense. But we will not accept to be blackmailed to do things we're not willing to do. Well, we are responding in a very sincere and serious way. We would like to come back to serious talks on how we cooperate even closer. But Denmark needs to have the lead on those discussions because this is Danish territory. So let's see what happens today.
You joined NATO not too long ago. Any regrets?
Absolutely not. We are in very good cooperation with 31 allies within NATO, and we are doing great progress, and we are being integrated very rapidly, and we are already making big efforts also to increase NATO's combined capacities in our part of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam President. My question is addressed to the Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs. Minister, in 1945, Europe was rebuilding itself and contributing to the establishment of a new world order based on international law and the ideal of a long-awaited peace. What remains of it today? Damaged by its inaction, sometimes its powerlessness, the multilateral system is running out of steam, particularly when its American architect deals it blows comparable to declarations of war that could well prove fatal. The United States is today directly threatening Europe's territorial sovereignty and is using tariffs as blackmail. In this context, ratifying the agreement with the United States negotiated by the European Commission this summer is out of the question. Indeed, what credibility can we give it when President Trump changes the terms via a tweet? At the same time, the Peace Council that President Trump wants to set up in defiance of NATO resembles a parallel, privatized multilateral system relying solely on financial power. We cannot legitimize this farce by participating. A presidency for life in the United States would only coalesce an American-centric pole ruling by force against the rule of law. This new situation is upsetting. It is upsetting because since 1945, we Europeans have not known how to envision peace without the United States. Our mindset is too often derived from the Cold War. To the east, the enemy; to the west, the ally, the protector, the bulwark, the hyperpower under whose assistance we have sometimes complacently taken refuge. So, Minister, what method, what tools does France intend to activate to guarantee European unity in the face of President Trump's incessant provocations regarding his latest tariff threat? Ladies and gentlemen of the Assembly, Mr. Pascal Lecomte, France does not submit to any blackmail and never will. She views sovereignty as indivisible for herself as for the nations of the world. So, of course, she remembers with gratitude the bloodshed by American soldiers on the beaches of Normandy so that she could be liberated. She intends to cultivate her historic relationship with the United States. 250 years after their independence, to which she made a decisive contribution, she also wishes to work with the United States in the service of peace and global security, as she is doing today in Lebanon or Syria. But when the United States formulates a proposal that is unacceptable, she fully accepts the responsibility of telling them no. No to calling into question the integrity of a European territory placed under NATO protection. No to the challenging of rules that the peoples of Europe have freely and democratically given themselves to protect their public debate. No to the sanctions that recently targeted European figures, and notably a former French minister and vice president of the European Commission. Yes to the implementation of the peace plan presented by the President of the United States, which we support without reservation, but no to the creation of an organization such as it was presented, which would substitute itself for the United Nations. No, finally, no to the threat of tariffs brandished as blackmail to obtain unjustifiable concessions. In this context, France supports the suspension of the trade agreement with the United States, sought by the European Parliament. And if coercion were to materialize, then Europe would draw all the consequences from it. The Commission is preparing for it. It has said so, and it has very powerful instruments at its disposal for this purpose. No, sir, France will not yield to any blackmail, any coercion, wherever it comes from, wherever it originates, and whatever it may be. And let those who still struggle or who still doubt it dive into our history to convince themselves.
I came to the United States at 14, straight from the Soviet Union, and I became a believer in American openness, democracy, leadership. And now I speak to you as a European, as a friend. Wake up, speak up. Your leadership is undoing what America built in the last century. It replaces a hemisphere of freedom with a hemisphere of blackmail. Greenland is not the issue. The United States already can use military access as it wants. The agreement with Denmark dates 1951. The story is not about new security threats. Denmark is your ally. EU is your ally. Greenland is your ally and not for sale. So blackmail among allies is not security. It's a betrayal. And the consequences for all of us are also clear. Europe needs a new foreign policy doctrine. Europe, colleague Madison, needs a Security Council. We need a one united voice, fast decisions, and a lot of military capacities. That's the conclusion that we draw for ourselves.